Yeah, she crushes Harvard. They don't just, I don't know if you guys know, but they don't just let anybody in there. That's pretty wild to think that we have someone on the Disc Golf Pro Tour that went to Harvard. That's crazy.
Yeah, most disc golfers are dumb.
Well, you got Vinny. Vinny's not dumb.
Yeah, that's true.
He's what? Astro something assist. So
chemical engineer.
Well, he's not quite as smart as I thought he was.
Put him down a few pegs. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to the Players Meeting, episode number 14, a Win Dummies production. I am super hyped for tonight. We're going to take a deep dive into the Portland Open, which was played at one of our favorite courses on the Pro Tour. The boys are going to build their best pro. So there's 5 different categories, so stay tuned for that. We're going to look at picks from the Portland Open and make our picks for the Beaver State Fling. Super excited about this one. So let's get the boys in. As you know, the one-time world champ, Smitty, Chris Smith. What's up, dude? And then the step putt master, Mr. Ronnie Unruh. Fellas, welcome in to the program. Let's talk some disc golf, shall we?
Yeah, man. It's going to be, I think we're going to have a great show. It's going to be a lot of new fun stuff to talk about. We got the DOS line. You forgot to mention that.
Ooh, I did.
Yep. And then we're going to dive into a local tournament just a little bit and give our feelings about that bad boy.
Yeah, sounds like a good time. I'm ready to do it. Let's do it, boys.
All right. Well, let us start where we always start. What's poppin'? What's been happening around the world of disc golf? And as you know, we had the Portland Open this week, and this was a good one. Excited to talk about it. Let's jump into the women's side first. Owen Scoggins, her putter was H-O-T hot. She banged putts of 60, 51, and 62 on her way to a 10.05 rated 7 under. Kat Murch found herself just a stroke back after getting 6 of the last 9 holes. Missy, Gannon, and look at that, Paige Pierce rounded out the lead card after the first round. On the men's side, playing the longest course on tour led to the longest arms on tour, finding the top spots. Gannon ahead of all of them with a 10 under 1077 course record. Gannon went 9 for 9 in circle 1 and 5 of 6 from circle 2, including a 59-foot eagle putt from a knee. Smitty, is he better than you at the knee putt?
He took the title right there.
Drew Gibson was lacing lines off the tee and converting all of his putts. And when his putter's going, it's cool to see. I was happy to see Drew on the lead card. We all know he is one of the most talented arms on tour. And if he's banging those putts, he's going to be hard to beat. Vinny and the Don, Randon Lotta, round out our lead card. And we're going to jump into round 2. A new face maybe for a lot of us. Sophia Donachie blasted onto the disc golf scene during round 2. The newcomer not only just showed up, she showed out with a 10-19, 10 under to even it up with Owen, who shot a solid 6 down herself. Owen's putter cooled down a little bit, round 2, and Owen Lee made 2 putts over 40 feet. That's all. But she did hit from 40. No, Ronnie? You know, she did hit from 42 on hole 11 and 45 feet on hole 9. Kat struggled a bit, only hitting 8 greens in regulation, but was still tied for third when none other than Paige Pierce continued to push her way up. Let's look at the men's side. Smooth drives and strong putting landed Gannon at the top again with another 10 under Round 2, this one 1075 rated. Once again, he was outstanding, putting in circle, going 11 of 12. Drew shot another great round as well and found himself just 2 back of Gannon and 1 ahead of Joona Heinonen of Finland. Defending world champion Isaac Robinson moved himself to the lead card on the strength of a bogey-free 8 under.
Hot take, Gannon's the next 1050 boy?
Good chance.
Oh, yeah. There's no question. He's now throwing discs that are good.
Closing in on it now. I think he's 1046 or 8 now. So, I mean, if he keeps up the pace he's on, he may threaten Paul's 1060 mark at some point, which would be pretty bonkers.
Yeah, and Lucas, you say that jokingly, the better disc, but yeah, you're 100% correct in that. Look at the other guys that have switched. Look at Alden. He's playing great. Look at Gavin Babcock playing great. Gannon he looks so smooth off the tee, man. And he's not having to work his discs. He's just throwing them, and it is beautiful to watch.
Yep, it is.
And maybe the Robinson boys are just that good.
Oh, they are that good.
I would love to see them throw something else.
You will soon.
Oh, dang. That's the hot take. Here we go. Round number 3. Oh, my goodness. Could it be? Yes, it is. Paige Pierce finally hit her stride. Paige drained 12 of 13 opportunities in C1. And when the putter is hot, Paige is definitely going to be hard to beat. She finished the round at 9 under and leapfrogged her way to the top spot. Kat shot another solid round, going 7 down, to remain tied with Owen, who had to overcome an OB and a hazard to keep pace. Sophia, though, couldn't keep the pace with her round 2 play, but played well enough to find herself on the lead card going into Championship Sunday. On the men's side, at the end of round 3, Gannon found himself with an incredible 10-stroke lead over Cole, who eagled the tough hole 18, Ricky, who overcame a 6 on the 1145 par 5. That thing is so long. And Calvin also eagled hole 18, setting us up for a real treat on Sunday.
You don't just lead Pro Tours by 10.
You don't. He was playing phenomenal. So can he hold on to the lead? We'll find out, but let's look at the women first. Round 4, oh my goodness gracious. This was the Holland Hanley show. Holland destroyed the field and the course, shooting a 1026 rated 11 under. She was able to get into C2 in regulation on 17 of the 18 holes. 11 of those, she was in C1 in regulation. Pair that with going 11 for 12 in the circle with the putter, and you have a recipe for a pretty disgusting round. As hot as Holland shot, though, it wasn't enough to catch the Portland Open champion, Paige freaking Pierce. Paige shot a great round herself as she went 9 under after 17 and unfortunately took a double on 18 to finish 7 down for the round. Still good enough for a 2-stroke victory. And Sophia was able to hold on to a 3rd place and finish with a podium spot. Finally, on the men's side, it is no surprise the battle was going to be for 2nd unless Gannon found trouble and bad luck. He did have a slow start, however. An OB on 4 started to give the Sharks a little bit of hope. For the first 17 holes, Rick and Cole were trading blows back and forth. Rick looked to have 2nd wrapped up until he took a terrible OB on his approach to the green on 18. The Goose, Aaron Gossage, finally makes an appearance in the top 5, getting a little redemption after the late meltdown last year. There's a weekend, boys, and these DGT Plus ones, they're always the 4-rounders, and I love the 4-round tournaments. It's just, there's so much more things that can happen, and let's talk about it. Let's first go into the course itself. We've talked about it earlier this year. This is a course we all love. We had East and West. Smitty, tell me your thoughts on how the course played.
Oh, it was awesome. It looked awesome. It played awesome. It was fair for a course that has that course probably has 20 Mandos or more, but none of them were dumb. They were all to direct you through what should be the fairway instead of trying to cheat the hole. And man, did it play well. That hole you're talking about where Rick took the 6, that thing plays across 4 fairways.
I know.
Instead of playing along the fairway, it shoots perpendicular to him. Beautiful. And he actually nearly got it in 4 throws. He was there for a putt. So I loved it. Ronnie, what do you think?
Well, I mean, first of all, Glendoveer is beautiful. I mean, I think it's easily the most aesthetically pleasing course they play all year. I mean, I'd like to just go check it out. I've been to that part of the country several times, and it's one of my favorite places to be. And I would definitely, it would definitely be up there in the top 2 or 3 if I were to just pick an event all year to go spectate in person. Glendoveer would be right there at the top. So the way it played, I think it plays. It didn't look like it played fair. Gannon just kind of, ran away. You don't, and like I said during the recap, I mean, you don't just lead Pro Tour events by 10 shots after 3 rounds. That don't happen. And what he did was spectacular. A lot of the golf was, even the guys who weren't winning were playing phenomenal golf. So it's too bad that it had to get wet on Sunday and kind of, pun intended, put a little damper on the show. But other than that, I mean, Portland's always one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I think even if it was dry, it would have played out the same way. I think Gannon was just playing to win the tournament. He had it won. There's no sense in putting the hammer down, I guess.
For sure.
They said that the all-time record was Paul Macbeth won by 12 at some event. And there's a little speculation on whether Gannon would try to break that record. But I think Gannon just wanted to win, and he was happy with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. And then, and had a couple guys really playing well, on Sunday in that rain, which it was tough conditions. It was hard to score, and you still had, Rick and Cole were kind of going off a little bit through the middle of that round. So it was always going to be hard for Gannon to push it too much farther anyway. And like you said, there was no reason to, as Dominic Toretto once said, winning is winning, right? So
yeah, and I'm not 100% sure, but I think Cole might have went OB on the first 2 holes. And I know for sure he went OB on the second hole. And I'm pretty certain that maybe he did on the first hole too. And he got to within 5. Him and Rick were both within 5.
Yeah, with like 6 to go. I mean, it wasn't. I mean, it. Yeah, you got to the middle of that back 9, and it. I mean, it wasn't. You always felt like Gannon was probably going to win, but you at least started seeing scenarios where maybe something weird could happen.
Mm-hmm.
And we know what's happened on 18 on that in that tournament before when stuff was tight. It can spit 2 or 3 shots up pretty quick.
And Cole was that far from doing something incredible, dude. Every one of his putts was dead on line, just a little high, a little low. He was so close to doing something.
He was ultra impressive last week.
Yeah, he's an impressive player. But I will say, Gannon, his 8-stroke victory is the largest margin of victory since February of 2021 when Eagle won the Las Vegas Challenge by 8.
How much different is the tour now than it was in just 3.5 years ago from a competitive standpoint?
Absolutely.
Yep. So absolutely incredible performance there by Gannon. So hats off to him. But let's talk about the ladies here. Paige winning her first win since OTB of last year. So more than a year since she's won a tournament, but she got the victory. Ronnie, tell me what you thought about Paige. Of course, it's a longer course, but how did you feel about her performance this week?
Happy to see it. I think disc golf needs a good healthy Paige Pierce. And I was really surprised to see that statistic that it had only been since OTB last year when she won. Was I the only one in the world that felt like she hadn't won in forever? Like it had been 2 or 3 seasons since she won a golf tournament. This has been the longest year that you could possibly imagine without a healthy Paige Pierce. So, like I said, I disc golf needs it, in my opinion.
I think what she's been through.
Disc golf needs it.
Think what that gal's been through in a year, dude. She slipped on a bridge and snapped her dang leg. right? And listening to her post-round interview, she questioned if she would even be able to play again. And it was she was really emotional, and I understand exactly why. I mean, disc golf's been her life, her entire adult, life. And yeah, dude, I'm with you. If she can shred and get on one, ladies disc golf will be a lot better. Bring those Euros back and let's get it on.
Absolutely. I think there's a lot of parallels to what Paul's doing. I think those are two. If we could only have two players, that we could think of. Hey, if we had two players, we could think of to make disc golf better on each side of the aisle. I think that's your two people. Both of them bring people to the sport. Both of them are, all-time greats, arguably the best in their own field of all time, and it's only better if those two are good again, are relevant again, and now in Paige's case, winning again. So
let's actually talk about Paul. I guess we're just going to kind of go back and forth here. It just segues perfectly to talk about the beast. He finished tied for 7th in his last 4 tournaments before this one. Music City Open, he got 2nd. Champions Cup, he got 10th. DDO, he got 27th, but we all know that he could have shot better. He just was going for a little bit too much at the end. And then OTB, he got 18th. So truly, he's been playing a ton better. Smitty, where do you think Paul is in his game right now and how he's feeling about how he's playing?
Late last week, I was watching YouTube and stumbled across the Anthony Barella, Paul Macbeth lunar round. And I instantly messaged Ronnie. I said, hey, you got to check this out, dude. And he was watching some stupid practice round that was hard to watch. And he watched it, and both of us had the same comment. Paul Macbeth is having fun now. Look out. So him and Anthony annihilated the East course from the ladies' tees. It took Hall in the last round to beat Anthony by 1 stroke, and he played the entire thing with a Luna. So
I think she just tied it. I think she just tied it. Yeah, it was crazy. And yeah, you're right. You sent that to me, and we both started watching that. And you could tell Paul was having a good time. And it's almost like he's maybe got a little bit of Anthony under his wing again, which is, I think, also good for both of them. And he's in my opinion, Paul's ready to win. And of course, I've already came out and said that I think he's going to win a tour event before the year's over. But I think it's just
world championships.
I think it's going to happen. I do think it's going to happen. To me now, it's not a matter of if.
Exactly.
It's a matter of when. Yep. It's just what week is it going to happen?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's just right there. Yeah. And if you look at his scores, he had a couple of bad holes here and there that kept him from being farther up the leaderboard.
Yeah. Yeah. And you saw the putts come back.
Oh, it's
nasty. Not all the way to where it was, but it's the putts come back. He's trusting it on both spins again. Yeah, to me, it's not a matter of if, it's just when.
The point you made, Ronnie, I love when he's playing well. It just makes the sport so much more fun, because I think most people in this day and age that are newer to the game know Paul Macbeth, and when he's playing well, it just gets everyone hyped.
I completely agree. You can use a parallel to another sport that a lot of people don't really care about right now, and that's boxing. But how excited is everyone that Mike Tyson is going to get in the ring with Jake Paul?
Tough.
Nah. Since when?
It got postponed. Yeah.
Mike's sick.
Well, but look at what it did, though.
But the excitement is, you're right.
That's not that happened. But look at the excitement that was there. I mean, we were all so geeked to watch a 58-year-old guy get in the ring and break a 20-something-year-old's face. And that's kind of, and I think, and I find it similar with Paul. Even just having, or you look at professional golf, when Tiger Woods in the field, people care.
Yeah, it's true.
And Tiger's not even really relevant that much anymore. Paul is still far more relevant than than
Yeah.
Tiger is, but it just adds an excitement to the event that nobody else really in their sports can provide.
1,000%. And I would love to see McBeast break someone's face. So you're right.
He's going to break all their faces in Virginia.
Anakin got an ace on 16, and guess what? No. It was on Sports Center. Did you get to see that, Ronnie? What'd you think?
Yeah, that was the same hole that Maria Oliva aced last year. Is that right?
It's correct.
Yeah, that was very cool. Yeah, I did get to see that.
I just love anytime disc golf can be on Sports Center.
And they didn't actually clown it completely this time. They made some comment as it was ending. What'd they say? Big disc energy or something like that. So
that's not bad. Yeah, a lot of times they don't know anything about it, and so they make some stupid comments like that stand-up comedian.
It just looks easy. That's the problem. Watching her throw a disc in from 300 and what is that whole 50 some feet?
Yeah.
It just looks. It didn't look hard.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I would love any of those people just pick up a disc one time and let me see how much they hyzer that puppy and only throw it 50 feet.
Oh yeah.
All right, and so we talked about Anakin, but let's now talk. We're going to go back to the men's side and talk about the bird, Eagle.
Yeah.
Top 10 finish after a finish of 13th at OTB. Smitty, is Eagle back? Is he feeling it?
He's nearly there. He's nearly there, man. He's just like Ronnie said with Paul. It's not a matter of if, it's when. So yeah, the bird looks good. His putt is amazing. His backhand is amazing. His forehand, although different than it was pre-injury, is bombing. So yeah, I'm excited to see Eagle get up there and shred with these other guys.
Totally. I mean, he's another one of the people that just adds excitement. Like when you go, if you're at a tour event and you're looking at tee times, I mean, you're gonna search out Eagle McMahon. Oh, I need to go watch that dude for 3 or 4 holes because he's gonna do stuff that very few other people can. He's just a rare talent.
Yeah, same way with Simon, and I wish he didn't have a kid, to be honest. Because I want him out there. I mean, I'm glad he had one, but I just mean for selfishly.
Charles Lindbergh now, and then the FBI will be knocking down your door.
Just like everyone else, it's much better when Simon's out there too.
Agree.
And he'll be back, and he'll not have missed a beat.
Yep. Well, Ronnie, I have to ask about your boy. So, AB, Anthony Barella, his final round, what happened? 9 OB strokes, a hazard, 6 of 9 in C1, 2 of 5 in C2. Was this kind of like a Paul situation at DDO?
I think you can chalk it up to that. I mean, I think this one of them rounds you just have to forgive. It was wet. He really wasn't in the golf tournament. After a couple bogeys early, I mean, you could tell that the golf tournament was really over for him. And I think there was just a little bit of bad conditions and a little bit of a mental checkout, which you really would prefer not to see. But the grind of a 72-hole tournament is enough as it is. And they're into the middle of the season now. I can understand. I'm willing to forgive one bad round for the kid.
Yeah. I mean, it's not just 72 holes, right? It's a disc golf season. And I mean, they've already played 13 tournaments or so already?
Yeah, they're in the middle of a long grind, and that was a hard ask on a very long golf course in really bad conditions. So again, I think he's allowed one.
Some of that could be the money that these guys are actually making instead of having to win as well. 4, 5, 6 years ago, every one of them strokes would have been super valuable to him to stay on tour. As now, cashing is a bonus.
Yeah. That's a good point, because it's probably the same situation with Paul, where he makes enough money where he doesn't need that as much as someone else.
Yep.
Yeah.
So All right.
Yeah,
Last thing I want to talk about is the cut line. Did you see anyone that didn't make the cut that you were like, "Whew," kind of shocked you? Smitty, I'll let you lead that one.
Not on the ladies' side. I didn't see any that shocked me. I mean, you guys know how I feel. I feel like there's 8 or 10 that are going to compete every week, and after that, we don't really know. The men's side, yeah, there's some dudes that are just, I don't know what's going on, or I don't know how they're going to keep doing it. Like James Conrad, missed the cut. Kevin Jones, missed the cut. These are two guys that were every week were on feature card at some point a couple of years ago. Chris Clemens missed the cut. So those three stuck out to me when I glanced at it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we just talked about it just a little bit ago. The tour has changed a lot in 3 years. There is so many more great players than there were just 2, 3, 4 years ago. And it's not that they're any better than what they were, but the bottom has come so far up. And just making the money in a pro tour event now is, I mean, that's you played great. I mean, you're having to average 10, 20 just to get a check. And yeah, those guys that you were talking about, James Conrad, to me, the one that sticks out is James Conrad. Because he was, even last year, he was a guy that you could count on. And he's really, really fighting his game right now. He just is almost irrelevant every week, which is wild to think.
And that cut line was fun to watch. We were watching it and watching Corey Ellis birdie the last hole the day before, round 3, birdied the last hole to knock 4 or 5 people out. Garrett Gurthey got like the last 5 holes and was well within the cut line, and the field just creeped right past him. He's the first guy out. So, I mean, I'm glad they do it on 4-round tournaments. I think as fans, it gives us something else to look at. As players, if you're below that cut line, do you really want to come back?
So, I agree. Do you think they keep these 4-round events to 3 rounds in a cut, or do you think they ever move to where professional golf is, where they start cutting after Friday?
Play 2 and then cut a small portion of the field, and then why not do that, right? And then in an event like this, you'd have to flip flop the order of courses, but that's no big deal because they played west, east, east. But and did you guys think it was weird that they did everybody played west and then everybody played east? Why not have the ladies on one and the men on the other?
Yeah, I
think it just comes down to 2 things. It comes down to the camera crew needs a little bit of a break in between the 2 of them. If they're both going at the same time, there's not going to be any break. And then the new feature, the featured holes. Do you keep those up, Ronnie, on a
it's usually usually up on my laptop or something.
Yeah, I do, and I keep the scoring up. I'm gonna have to stop doing the scoring though because it ruins the live, because it does. Yeah. There's sometimes putting on the next hole when they shoot back to and now we have Garrett on this hole, and we already know that Garrett's going to make it, and so that kind of bumps me out.
Do you think it has something to do with volunteers too, like the number of volunteers?
It could. I think it. Like Smitty says, I think it's more to do with TV coverage. And until the tour gets big enough where they can have more cameras on individual holes and that kind of stuff, where you don't have necessarily just a group of people walking around with the players, and that's the only cameras. I think they probably have to do it that way. But I would agree with you, man. I think I would start going to these 2-day cuts just like they do on the PGA Tour. And then if I'm event promoters, I am making like high level B tiers in that same area, so that the folks that don't make the cut, boom, there's my Saturday, Sunday B tier ready to go, and have or A tier, but the problem with A tier, I think you have to go 3 rounds now, don't you?
There's
for an A tier event. So
there's some stipulates like that. The problem I see with that is they're already taking some flack on these qualifying tournaments, this Q series, because a lot of these guys like Aaron Gossage won one a few weeks ago, and Personally, if I'm a TD, I want Aaron Gossage there.
Yeah.
Right. And I think they're taking the cash, but the guys with the cards aren't taking those qualifying spots or points. So I think those guys are still earning it. Oh, I remember the other thing I was going to say. Simon Cast. Good reason to have a kid because that's fun. Did you guys watch that at all?
Yeah,
I didn't get to see it. I didn't know it was happening until you told me. And by that point, the round was, all but over. So I didn't get to see any of it.
It happened twice. It happened first round. Everybody could watch it on the YouTubes. And then it happened final round, just Disc Golf Network Pro. So I think that's fun. He had, it was Simon. He had quirky stuff going on. And at one point I watched, and he was watching with Avery Jenkins, who was driving down the road in Pawhuska, Oklahoma. So I'm like, did you see that? So,
That's great.
I like
hopefully
that.
we'll see more of that then. I want to check that out because, you and I have talked plenty of times. I love what they've done on Monday Night Football with the Manning cast.
Mm-hmm.
I don't watch Monday Night Football in the weeks that the Mannings aren't on there. So, I'm that much addicted to what they do because I think it's fun. It makes something you're already watching more fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and you still see the parts you want to see.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, I loved Simon talking about the holes. I didn't actually love him bringing in other people because it took his attention away from the disc golf or what was happening, and I just wanted to hear him talk about what was happening because I just love to hear Simon talk about that stuff. But other than that, it was still fun.
Mm-hmm.
Did they archive that stuff on Disc Golf Network?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Okay.
I think you can watch the replays.
Watch that.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I think
I failed to mention something, boys. We talked about her a little bit, but I just want to give another shout out to Sophia Donachie, who finished third this tournament. And I really want to make sure she gets her flowers because that was an amazing performance from someone that just kind of really came out of nowhere. She's Canadian. What did you think of her performance, Smitty, and watching her game?
First of all, let's call her by the proper name, Dr. Donachie.
Really?
Yeah,
I did not know that.
A doctor of chemistry.
Wow.
So, yeah. And got her undergraduate from one of the Ivy League schools and then her doctorate somewhere else. She was a rower from 8th grade through college, and she contributes that to her success in disc golf. She says it's the same kinetic chain from feet to legs to core to arms. I listened to her on a staggered stance. She's really fun to listen to, and yeah, it sounds like she just started playing in COVID. They on the island she lives in Canada. They have courses, they're object courses, and she said it was hiking and disc golf, and her friends thought she was good at it, so she just kind of stuck with it. She's great though, dude. She can really fling a frisbee.
Yeah, she crushes Harvard. They don't just, I don't know if you guys know, but they don't just let anybody in there. That's pretty wild to think that we have someone on the Disc Golf Pro Tour that went to Harvard. That's crazy.
Yeah, most disc golfers are dumb.
Well, you got Vinny. Vinny's not dumb.
Yeah, that's true.
He's astro something assist. So
chemical engineer.
Oh, he's not quite as smart as I thought he was.
Put him down a few pegs.
Yeah, that's pretty insane. Yeah, and she can flat throw a frisbee. So yeah, be excited to see her more. Hopefully this gets her makes her mind up that she's going to go out and play some more events.
Yep. No, she said she probably is. She was just going to try it as a little West Coast swing, and maybe play throw pink or something. But she says now she's convinced that she can compete. And yeah,
that's good.
I watched all of it, of course. Get a life, man. Hey, let's shift gears a little bit. Let's go from the national event. Let's go local because we had one of our longest running tournaments here in Wichita this weekend. And shout out to Nate Alton for putting the smack down on everybody. I don't think we're going to talk too much about the play because we're hoping to get Nate on next week during the odds talk and talk about what happened there. But let's talk about the tournament itself. I think we have 3 interesting point of views here. We have me, the guy who runs a lot of tournaments and understands what goes on before and during and after the event. And we got Ronnie, who was a player at the tournament and has played a lot of tournaments and a lot of doodahs. And we have Lucas, who's fairly new to the disc golf scene, hasn't really ran a tournament, didn't play this one, filmed the whole thing. So that'll be fun. And by the way, I'm really looking forward to the Oak Park rounds. I intentionally stayed away on Sunday.
Okay.
So I know the scores. I know the results. I know this. I can probably tell you what people got on holes because I looked at it. And but yeah, I'm excited to see how that all played out. But I mean, I got to give it up to Jimmy Yeager, who I think last year was his first tournament running experiences.
Yep.
But I think the guy who saved the day for us is Joe Belson, local guy. He's a treasurer of the club and normally didn't play. And I think he did a lot of the behind the scenes stuff for the tournament. So those 2 guys I got to give. I mean, they're the reason we had the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I don't want to gloss over some of the things that I think we should touch on a little bit. And like I said before, don't take this as a slam. Look at it as maybe constructive criticism from other people. And I always want to know what people are thinking and what they can add to the event and what we think we could do a little differently moving forward. So I'm going to say one more thing. And I'm going to hop off my soapbox and let you guys have that a little bit.
Sure.
I really feel like this event, the Doodah, the longest running tournament in Wichita, should be our best event. It should be the one that we talk about all year, the one that we're prepping for, the one that people come from Oklahoma, Nebraska, Missouri, wherever to come and play. It should be the one that has the wait list that's 8 miles long and is filled 2 months ago. So, and I heard a lot of talk about attendance being up. It was up from last year, but it's nowhere near where it was 4 or 5 years ago. So, Ronnie, from a player's point of view, what'd you think?
Well, you know firsthand how hard running disc golf tournaments are. Whether it's small tournament, big tournament, doesn't matter, right? It's extremely difficult to do. In a situation like this, you need a lot of volunteers, and unfortunately, those are few and far between. And that's one of the biggest problems. But from a player's perspective, I got to be honest, the tournament came across as a little bit haphazard, a little bit thrown together last minute. Whether that's the case or not, I don't know. But it sure seemed that way. I felt like I had to do some prodding to actually get some information, up until 24 hours before the event. I'm trying to figure out where I play and when I play and all that kind of stuff. And it was disappointing. I do think that a couple of folks really stepped in and kind of saved the day. And from Saturday morning on, the tournament seemed to go fairly smoothly. So the actual play of the tournament wasn't too bad. Unfortunately, it's been a wet spring and recently early summer, so the courses were probably not the best maintained I've ever seen them. As a matter of fact, Oak Park looked pretty terrible, to be honest. And it all to me comes down to one thing that you said earlier, Chris, and this should be the biggest event that happens in Wichita every year, from an Air Capital Club perspective, at least. And I have been playing this tournament off and on since 2000-ish, maybe 2001. And I remember when it was a big deal. when it was one of the three biggest tournaments in the state of Kansas. And it just doesn't feel that way anymore. We were struggling for attendance. We were in the mid 60s or something like that, less than a week before the event started. And, this is we can fill 2 full courses on 2 premier courses in our area. And it just, I hope that we can do better. I want it to do better because nobody wants that event to be a big deal more than I do. And I hope that we can get it that way again. But none of that is said to not appreciate what was done by the few folks that are in charge of it, because I know that they, it's not from, I hope at least it's not from a lack of their desire for it to be the same way.
Yeah, I think those guys that do that stuff are just really ran pretty thin. I think they're trying to do a lot of stuff, and they ask for help, and yeah, it's helps hard to get, and sometimes it's easier just to do it yourself, is what I've found. You're right. Both Oak Park and Herman Hill are 2 premier courses, not only in our area, but bigger than that. They are both fantastic courses, and all of our courses in Wichita are great. We're lucky to have what we have, and I think a lot of Wichita people aren't aware just how awesome we actually do have it here. Moved to Western Kansas, live in Ransom or Dodge City or Garden City for a few years, and see, like, those guys, whew, you put on the miles living out there. Lucas, what do you think?
Well, outside looking in, obviously, from my perspective, I don't want to run the tournament, right? Like, that's why I didn't even want to be on the board. So I can't imagine like how difficult that kind of stuff is. Everyone has an opinion, right? So they're going to hear it from all sides. My thoughts are more so around the registration piece, because I jumped in and I got in with the ACDGC to try to pump up the attendance. And I think we were able to do that. But registration wasn't available until about a month before the tournament happens. And this is one of those tournaments where you just have to get going early. Like, if you think about some of the top pros, like, or just players in general, really, like Ronnie, when you start the season, probably even Smitty for you, you're kind of looking like, okay, what tournaments I'm going to play? If people don't know when this tournament is, how can they plan to play it? The registration piece has to be something that is done immediately. As far as the courses, I agree. Oak was in rough shape, honestly. There was trees down too. And I know there were some storms that had come through the week before, and I don't know if that's on the city. But things weren't mowed either, and it may have been because of rain. I don't know the back end of all of that, but it just didn't look great. There's too many tournaments happening all at the same time to just say, hey, we're a month before. Let's see if we can fill this thing and get 180 people. That's hard. That's hard to do.
Looking forward, I think everybody in Wichita, well, I can't say everybody, all old school guys that have played for years, look at this tournament as the crown jewel, man, the one that we want it to be, the one that brings people in, the one that showcases it. And I think in order to do that, we got to do a couple of things. Number one, we got to start planning and figuring out what we're going to do and how we're going to do it soon. Let's get some feedback from people. Let's, take a little break, but we got to start planning what we're going to do now. And what are we going to do to make it better than all these other tournaments that you just mentioned? What is it that's going to make people want to come? You talk to anybody in the state about the Frontier Open, and they'll instantly tell you, yeah, it's a fun tournament, but the Buffalo chip is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's just something different that brings people in. Now, do we need the Buffalo chip? I don't think so. You know what? I think that's the Hayes thing. Let Hayes have that. But why not have people hanging out at Herman Hill and Oak Park or somewhere and just hanging out? Let's have a players party where people gather and have fun. Let's make disc golf fun instead of got to get there, I got to play, I got to get out, man. So, and the other thing that I heard was I heard multiple people come off of the course and say, never again, man. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Why not? Dude, I shot 70 over par. So I think the courses for some of those lower divisions, there's dudes that shot, Nate Alton shot 208. There's dudes that were shooting 300 and high 280s. That's a lot of throws, man. And I'm wondering if MA3 doesn't play. They play the doodah, of course, but why don't they play the short tees both rounds? Or why don't we just make the best course at both places and roll with that, right? Hole 2 at Oak Park, too short to where it was at. That's not a fun hole, right? Let's play 2 long to long, both rounds. 18 at Oak Park, nobody wants to go up top and throw off of that stupid hill. Everybody wants to clear that pond and play that hole. So those are my 2 suggestions. Number 1, start planning now and make it more fun than any other tournament around, making an event instead of a disc golf tournament. And number 2, let's look at the divisions, the courses, and let's make them appropriate for the skill level of the players.
I couldn't agree more. This tournament, when I first started playing it, was always coincided with the first weekend of River Festival. And that was part of it, right? So you brought people into town for River Festival. The golf tournament was there. They got to go downtown and party a little bit. Now it's back to being coinciding with the first weekend of Wichita River Festival. And I didn't hear one person say a word about it, right? Part of that is the River Festival isn't what it was. But it's just, to me, just missing opportunities to take advantage of situations like that and take advantage of situations of selling the tournament, of making the tournament not a disc golf tournament, making it an event, have a players party, do something to differentiate yourself from other tournaments within the area. Because I remember when the Oklahoma boys used to come, when the dudes from Denver used to come, when some guys, George Smith came over multiple times from Columbia. We would draw from 3-4 hours away for sure, for this event, 5 hours away. And it's just not that way anymore, man. All I saw out there was locals, and I love seeing all them people. But I mean, if you just took Wichita players and counted the amount of people that were from Wichita that played in that event, I think there was 110 or something like that. It had to be an overwhelming majority, like 85 or 90%. So I just want this, and you're right. This is the crown jewel as far as I'm concerned in our area. This is the one that I've always wanted to win. It's always eluded me, and it drives me crazy. And I want it to be that way again. Now, I want to say before we go any further, what Nate Alton, I know we weren't going to talk about the tournament much, but what Nate Alton did was unreal for 3 rounds. And he got to coast the last round and play. I haven't seen the coverage. I was playing on the chase card, so I didn't get to see how he did it. I'm sure he played super safe all day long, but an 11-stroke lead going into Sunday kind of afforded him that. But congratulations to Nate. That was he kicked my butt thoroughly. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. He
kicked a lot of people's butts thoroughly. So yeah, kudos to you, Nate.
Closing this out, this section once again. I don't want them to think that we're harping on them. I'm just going to say that I got to be here to help next year. Yep. So I've been going to board meetings. Lucas and I've been going to a few of them, and I just kind of distanced myself from it because I don't know why. Honestly, I don't want to see it fail by any means. I want to see it succeed, but it'd be really hard for me to be completely all in on the doodah, knowing that it wasn't my event. It was somebody else's event.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Well, you guys and everybody else in my circle knows that if I'm involved, I'm going to say, yeah, we're going to be there at 9:00 and I'm going to be there at 7:30.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I can't be 100% in, but I definitely want to be part of it. I want it to be awesome.
Yeah. It's hard for you to not go all in if you're involved in something. That's why people love you, dude.
But it really needs to be talked about. Look, hey, if you're on the board for the Air Capital Disc Golf Club, I've said it before. I said it 6 months ago about this event. If you would like some help with this event, from the coordinating to the whatever, you know how to get a hold of me.
Reach out.
I think the board's in a pretty good spot, man. There's some new faces on there and some old faces on there that do some great things, and they all have their own little area they're good at. And I think the addition of Scott Dyer I'm sure he's pissing those sons of bitches off, but he's making my day every time. That guy is not afraid to tell them. Yeah. You can tell that he's worked in this kind of thing, not for profits type deal before. So,
yep. All right. Well, let's move into a new segment. I don't know what we're going to call it.
Build a disc golfer.
Okay. It's going to be a one-time segment, but we're going to build a disc golfer. And so this is going to be pretty cool because we're going to take every player out there, and we're going to do the men's side of things. Every player out there, and we are going to build the best disc golfer. And we're going to look at the best mental, the best backhand, the best forehand, the best putt, and the best swagger. So thank you to Travis Bailey for coming up with this idea as well. If you have an idea that you want us to have some fun with, shoot it over to us. We'd love to hear all of the ideas, because we're going to start doing a little bit more of these instead of the top fives and the wheel of debates. We're going to just have a few little onesie-twosie games that we can play, throwing some things together. So with that being said, who would like to share their best disc golfer? Who wants to build first?
Let's go ones, twos, do that way.
Yeah, let's do it that way.
Yep. So you want to go, Ronnie, or do I want to go? Doesn't matter. I'm guessing we both have the same top dog.
I'll let you lead out.
There's only one dude for me. This guy cannot be broken. I can think of two reasons, both happened on hole 17s, that this dude is the best mental portion of the game we've ever have seen. Mr. Paul Macbeth. Think back to that putt on 17 at USDGC from clear across that stupid hay bale. And then think of the putt on hole 17 at Worlds a few years ago in Emporia. You can't break that dude. And man, that guy's a competitor. If I'm picking somebody to be my mental portion of my Super Pro, that's my dude.
It's funny you should use those two references, because that's exactly what I thought about when I got to thinking, who do I think has the best mental game? And that's hard to quantify, right? So I leaned more to, man, if I was in a situation where I had to have a birdie and I know I need some guy to go grind a birdie out for me to save my life, I think it's Paul Macbeth. In those two situations right there, he was up against it in both of those, and the mental fortitude, focus, and determination it took to make those two putts. You could throw away the rest of his career, and those two would have been enough. He's my mental Super Pro as well.
Good pick.
And I guess it should be mentioned that you're only choosing players that are playing today.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, snap.
Stay tuned.
Okay. Well, then I didn't look at the list. All right, Ronnie, go. Are you going to go next with backhand?
So, yeah, my backhand dude, I'm a super fan. What can I say? The guy can throw it 11 miles. It's been clocked at what I believe 88 miles an hour or something like that in the backhand. I'll take the Arizona Diamondback. Give me Anthony Barella.
That's a good pick, and he obviously was on my list for a little bit, but the reason I didn't pick him is because if he has to have a shot go left or right, he's going to forehand that sucker 7 out of 10 times. The guy I picked seldom forehands, seldom looks like he's throwing it far. How far did you say Anthony threw? 1100?
Pretty much.
So this guy shoots 10D 100, 999, whatever one less is. Drew Gibson is, if I could have backhand form, that's what I want. That guy is so compact, so smooth, so easy, and so powerful.
Yeah.
And phenomenal touch, too. He can put the disc wherever he wants it. So I watched him and Simon do a glitch round, over the winter or something, and just the shots he was throwing with that stupid thing were ridiculous, man.
Yeah, he's unreal. And if you want to just go on form alone, on just the beauty of the mechanics, he's hard to he would be hard to top. I'll tell you who is the honorable mention on my backhand though. Isaac Robinson. That guy throws almost nothing. I mean, I've seen him throw a couple chip shot forehands, but was last year the best player on the planet and threw it only with that spin.
Wow.
Isaac nearly made my list.
He's good.
Even with his little hitch.
Yeah. I think that hitch is kind of his, I don't know if it's his starter or whatever, but I mean, I think it's kind of
a timing thing for sure.
Yeah, it's a timing mechanism for sure. Who's got your forehand, Smitty?
Well, when I think of forehands, and there's one guy that I think of that forehand dominant player. That's why I picked him. This dude is such a dude that he will find a obvious hyzer hole and forehand a roadrunner. Big perm, big germ, Jeremy Colling.
That's if I had one person in the world to throw that flip up forehand for me, oh, it's so good. Some of the just buttery, woodsy, slow lines with the forehands with slow frisbees. He's pretty special at it. I didn't choose Jeremy, although he was obviously on the short list of the people that I would choose to for a forehand. But my super pro is going to have the forehand of Mr. Eagle McMahon. Now, it's changed a little bit right now, right? But you talk about, again, the beauty and the mechanics when he was throwing that forehand in his absolute prime, dude, just ripping it, and it looked like it was absolutely effortless and just gone. 500 foot forehand.
Oh yeah,
so nasty.
Plus, right on golf lines. But my super pro is going to have Eagle McMahon's forehand.
Who's your putt?
So I chose a guy who is not currently playing, kind of. Hope to see this guy next week at Masters Worlds. I took Kel LaVisca.
Oh,
Long time number one on tour, C1 putter. Just does not miss 20 to 30 footers. Had a great long putt game too. Has one of the most iconic putts of all time, the monster down the hill. Yeah, if I could have any putt on my super pro, I'm taking Kel LaVisca, and I'll take on any comers.
Well, you're in trouble, because I was down to two guys, and man, did I arm wrestle this for a while. I ended up going with Rick, because that dude is clutch putter generally. That dude has a unique putt. That dude has a repeatable putt. And that dude is amazing around the putting green. Remember the putt he made in Anthony's face at chess.com?
Yeah.
We both knew that was in before he putted it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and He's fantastic. But my honorable mention, and it's just because I could have picked this kid for everything. Yeah, I put Gannon Burr. That guy is amazing with the putter and the driver and pretty much all of disc golf.
The everything, right? Yeah. I was down to 3 people. I was down to Kale, Gannon Burr. I mean, how many times, even just last weekend, when he threw one out to 35 feet, you're like, I don't even need to watch that. It's him. He's making that. No question he's making that. And while it's just because it's just not right this second, man, nobody had a better putt ever in the history of our sport than Paul McBeth did 10 years ago. Cancel Christmas from 50 and in, especially if it mattered. Which is why he was we're gonna have the brains of Paul on my Super Pro.
Next one's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Definitely a fun one.
Who's got the swagger?
The swag, baby. I had
Lots of guys to pick from.
Had a lot to choose from. It's almost kind of your choice of your brand of lemonade is what this one is, right?
For sure.
And I could have went with my boy AB. I didn't, which he's got a lot of swag too. But I'm gonna take old Alabama Crimson Tide himself. First down, Matty O.
He's got swag.
The first down.
He's got swag.
Shirts. That dude is dripping with it all the time. Give me Matty O.
That's why he's a fan favorite, right? He's got swagger.
Absolutely. 100%.
He's got swag, but it's cool swag and it's fun swag, which is why my guy is way cooler than your guy. Simon Lizotte has swag, boy. Different kind of swag.
It is.
He doesn't have in your face swag, but name another super pro that can throw a shot 400 feet in the air that gets caught in the wind and lands 80 feet from him and he laughs. Right?
He's Joe Cool, man. That's what he is. He's Simon's got it too. There's so many out there on tour now. It's Rick is a swaggy dude.
Yeah,
Rick's fun to watch.
Rick's got a different.
It's a swaggy dude. There's a bunch of them. I mean, you look at a guy like Drew Gibson. Drew Gibson's got a lot of swag to him too. Maybe not in the way that everybody loves all the time, but he walks out on the course like, this is my place. I'm the man, and you're going to watch it happen. There's a lot of those guys. Gannon Burr's another one.
Nico.
Very similar. Nico
is the swaggiest.
KJ USA when he was on fire.
Yep. Joel Freeman with the stuff he wears.
I will never say Joel Freeman has swag.
I don't know if he has swag, but I'll tell you what though. I say this. I gotta like the shirts, man. I think the shirts are the strawberry.
I'm out on Joel Freeman. That dude burnt me so many times in Grip 6. I can't even. I leave the room if he makes lead card.
I'm a Freeman fan. I'm with you. I like Joel Freeman. How about a guy who needs some swag, needs a little confidence? Who's the guy who needs the most confidence?
Oh.
I'm gonna tell you who I think it is.
Let me think.
That if he had a little confidence, had a little belief in himself. Maybe,
Ezra Robinson.
That's not a bad one. I'm thinking Goose Gossage.
Okay.
If that dude could just believe a little bit, man, he could be great. Needs some swag. Needs to go to the Matty O course of swag.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
That doesn't work.
Yeah. And I don't know who I'd pick. But let's recap this here. So Ronnie, for his build a disc golfer, the best one ever. Mental would be Paul McBee. Backhand AB. Forehand Eagle. Putter Kale LaVisca. And swag of Matty O. And Smitty said mental of P. McBee. Backhand of Drew Gibson. Forehand of Big Germ. Putter of Rick. And the swag of Simon. It's pretty fun.
I take
like that.
either one of those dudes on my squad.
Yeah, I think they could battle. So this will be a fun and interesting thing. If these two met in a match play situation, who would win? And I want to hear that from you all.
I want to see their 5.
Oh, I'd like to hear your 5 too, but I want to know, out of Ronnie and Smitty, who do you think would win? Because I'm actually leaning. Man, I don't know. It's really close.
I've got specialists on my squad, and Ronnie's got 2-way players
that just happen to be really great at
they're phenomenal at both things.
I mean, I could have went down this list and said
Anthony Barella.
I could have said AB on every. I could have just made this real easy and just said AB, 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 AB.
Yeah.
AB. You could have said AB 3 times.
I could have said him 3 times. Yeah. And Paul the other 2. Or who I left out. I mean, it was really hard not to use the champ for my mental. The guy did win 12 world championships and wanted to kill you every time he played. So the champ was obviously in my consideration on several of these. And you could have just said Paul and champ on a lot of these and made yourself a pretty good player too.
Yep. All right. Well, let's do this. Let's go into another little segment that we have. But I'm going to pull this up, Smitty, and I'm going to let you tell everyone about this, okay?
You got it, man.
All right, here we are.
We got the DOS line, boys. 3-time world champ, Nate Doss. Sitting at home last year watching USDGC and said, hey, that's all my friends. I miss disc golf. So Nate Doss decided he was going to make a little attempt. He called up Innova and said, hey, if I want to play USDGC, could I? And they said, always. Good move. PDJ, maybe you should think about that for world champs. Avery Jenkins, once again, on the wait list for Pro Worlds, just to let you know. But this is a brother-in-law thing. This is the DOS line. Where does Nate Doss finish in his return? Will he be terrible and finish in 60th or worse? Will he be not great and finish 50 or worse? I think there's 120 some at Beaver State Fling. Will he be respectable and finish top 40 and above? Will he do good and be in the 30? Will he be great? 20? Fantastic top 10 or just outside the top 10? Or will it be unfreaking believable? And is Nate Doss going to come out of a multi-year retirement and just shred the Beaver State Fling and win the son of a buck? Lucas, where are you putting the DOS line?
Well, I'm a little bit newer to the sport, so I didn't get to see DOS in his prime. I know how good DOS was, but I also think the people he played against were not as good as what we have today. So I'm going to go not great at the Beaver State Fling. Say somewhere around the 50 area.
Okay.
Well,
Ronald?
I take personal offense to that. I have played in a group with Nate Doss. So I think you just said I'm not very good. So nobody would love to see Nate Doss play better than, play well more than me. But I don't know how much golf this dude's playing. It's going to be at a comfortable spot for him up at Milo. But I don't see it. I think he's finishing in the back half of the field. I hope I'm wrong. I'm going to go on this scale. Sorry, Nate, but I'm going to have to say terrible.
Terrible.
Ooh, all right, Smitty. Are you going to do something different?
Well, yeah, I'm taking him as unbelievable. No, kidding. I watched his interview when he was on Tour Life last week. It was great. It was fantastic. So much better than his commentary. It was so fun to listen to. I'm unfortunately for Nate, The first 4 categories, I think, are out of reach probably at this point. I don't think he's going to be good. I do think, though, he could maybe be respectable or not great, but I'm going to put him in the not great. I think he'll finish between 50 and 60,
So
which
just
I think would actually be good.
yeah, I think that's pretty good because that would be just outside the money. So if he were to get to your respectable at 40th place, that puts him in the money. I mean, if he were to come out of retirement and make the cash at a pro tour event, that would be wild.
And for those of us like me, how long has Nate been retired? It's been a second, right?
4 years, 5 years.
It's been, yeah, okay.
But he was still more than relevant when he retired. I mean, he was still chugging along, making lead cards consistently. So it's not like he was washed up when he walked away. This was more to correct me if I'm wrong, but the walking away was more to run his business and for him and Val to settle in and begin to start thinking about raising a family. That was
exactly.
That's more of what the retirement stemmed from.
And he touches on that in the interview with Brody and Yuli. It's really good. If you haven't listened to it, Ronnie, you're going to be driving home for 3 hours in a couple of days. You need to put that on and just listen to that interview. It's really good and so personable and so good on the mic when he's just talking and telling stories. Like beforehand, Brody's like, oh, I got to be prepared. We got to do this. And Yuli's like, you don't got to worry about it, bro. Nate will take care of it. And he was exactly right. Nate was, it's yeah, you got to listen to it. It's great.
Yeah, I plan to. I meant to, and I kind of just forgot about it until we talked about the DOS line, and that kind of jogged my memory to go back and listen to that interview. But no, Nate's a good dude. One of the coolest people I've ever played with. Super unassuming. Didn't have some giant ego. I got to play a final round with him one year. Before this year, the last time I played what was then the Glassblown Open, and I got paired in a group with Nate on the last day that year, and it was a pretty cool experience. And again, like I said, one of the nicest guys you'll ever play with.
Oh, sure.
I'm rooting for him. I would love to see it, to do it right there down the road.
I wonder if maybe they'll put him on one of the feature cards.
Have to. How do you not? I mean, unless he's just not playing and he's afraid his game's not going to be good. But I don't think. I mean, knowing a dude like Nate Doss, he's not going to play if he doesn't think he can compete.
Yeah, well, I mean, and the other thing with the way the lead cards work now, at this point, man, if somebody's not playing well on the lead card, we don't see them. We're coverage is getting so good that we're only seeing the good players. And I mean, we've mentioned multiple people who had great weekends this week and we didn't see them, but we saw bits and pieces of their games.
I think you're right. I think the lead card is going to be, or the feature groups on that first day is probably going to be Nate Doss, Cole Radallen, Gannon Burr, the hot guys, and then your Oklahoma folks, or excuse me, your Oregon folks, with Cole and Nate, and maybe is Sexton playing? Sexton's playing this week.
I would think he would be, yeah.
And then Scott Withers is from that area. I mean, they'll pick some Oregon dudes and some top pros, and I think that'll be your.
Who's the sponsor? The title sponsor.
The title sponsor of this year's Beaver State Fling is Innova.
So you'll have Vinny.
Vinny will be on Vinny will definitely be, and maybe Garrett or something. Garrett won up there.
He won it? Yeah, 2 years ago.
So Garrett,
we're not going to have Garrett.
Dang.
I think it's a possibility.
He's an Innova guy.
Cherry limeade on it.
What do you already know?
I don't know.
Then I definitely want it. Yes, cherry limeade on it. 2-1 odds.
Okay.
All right, boys. Well, I like the DOS line. What do you all think? Where do you think Nate is going to finish? It's really cool that he's coming back. I'm excited to see if this dude still has anything left in the tank. But let's move into our next segment. Weekly picks. And here we go. Let's look at our picks from Portland Open. You did not get to see our picks. We did them off camera. So you're now going to get to see them live here. And here we go. So for our stink, Ronnie went Mason Ford, Smitty went Yuli, and I went Marweasel. Dang it. And none of us did too great, honestly. Mason, Ronnie gets the green with a 22nd finish, and we always say that a top 20 finish is a good finish. So, if Ronnie's winning with a 22nd finish, that our stinks did not stink. Yuli was a top 10, which is really bad and unexpected, to be honest. And then Marweasel, thank goodness he didn't have the best final round, because he was at 8th going into the final round, and he finished 13th. Whew.
Mason was down from his season average, though, right? He's in the averaging like top 15.
He averages 16.8.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he was in this tournament until the last round.
We didn't have to share that piece.
We are going to have a stink get in the top 5 soon.
Hold on to your hats.
We are so bad at picking stinks. But yeah. I mean, obviously Mason was the biggest stink because he did worse. And Lucas and I's guys both did better than their average.
Yeah, but I got the yellow, so let's go.
Yeah.
And let's move into our sleepers. Ronnie with a nice sleeper of Isaac Robinson. Smitty with a nice sleeper of Goose. And Lucas really with a nice sleeper of Corey. We all did well here. Let's see who did the best. Well, Isaac and Goose both had a 4. Corey Ellis, 10th. So all in the top 10. You two with the top 5. But Ronnie gets the green. Smitty, tell us why.
This was a lot tougher than you guys think, right? I mean, a dude finishing in the top 5 has to get consideration for being the best of the sleepers, right? So Isaac, average finish of 25th, tied for 4th. Quick math, 21 better. Goose, average finish of 23rd. Quick math, right? Edges me out. But then let's look at Corey. Corey has an average finish of 34th. So he was 24 strokes better, or 24 places better. So he was the most ahead of his average finish. But I couldn't leave 2 guys in the top 5. I couldn't give one of those guys a red, man.
Yeah, I don't think you can give me a red. I think I deserve a yellow at least.
I got the yellow, homie.
He's pleading for yellows. I mean, that's
when you know you're great at this game.
I mean, that's who I compete against. I compete against guys that are pleading for yellows.
Look at these picks, though.
That's pretty good.
Really good. Really good.
I am pleading for a yellow. I really want it still.
We're good at picking sleepers. Let's see how we do on Shine.
Well, this is where we all kind of dropped the ball here.
Not all of us.
Right. Me and Ronnie said Ezra, and Smitty, you went Eagle. Smitty definitely going to take the green. Eagle finished 10th, and Ezra barely made the cut. 31st.
Nice little move on Sunday.
Thank goodness. Made us look a little bit better. But man, I truly thought this dude was going to win the tournament, or at least compete for it. He was nowhere close. He wasn't even sniffing.
Yeah, I thought the same way.
Yep. So I got another stoplight. I think that's 2 weeks in a row. Ronald gets a couple of greens and a red, which he was pleading for a yellow yesterday. I'm not going to lie. and Lucas, double reds and a
Should
yellow.
have had at least one yellow there. Another yellow.
Could have had a green.
Well, no. I mean, I'm just looking for a yellow. I just don't like the reds.
Man, I'm telling you, that sleeper was
Yeah,
hard for me to pick. I went back and forth on that. So
We did good. We did awesome. So let's see how good we can do going into Beaver State Fling. Boys,
All
do you have
right.
your picks ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Who's going to begin? Should the loser go first? Is that me?
Yeah.
All right.
Always.
I'm going to go with a big sleeper here, and you all are going to hate it, and he's not going to do well, and I'm going to get a red. But we're going to go for it. We're going to go Nico LaCastro as the sleeper. Finished 7th last year. He finishes, he's somewhere in like 54th on an average finish. He's got to do better than that. Come on, Nico.
You did some homework, Lucas. Good job.
Thank you.
Nico could look like a world beater compared to my guy. I'm going to be honest with you.
Oh,
We're going for the A or the F on this one.
Keenan Ford special.
I'm taking the local boy. I'm taking the people's champ, everybody's favorite. Give me Nate Sexton. I said it a little bit facetious earlier when I said, is Nate Sexton playing? I was fully aware.
Wow.
Fun
What did he
pick.
just finish at this
Not
last
good.
tournament? Yeah. All right. That's a big bowl. Ronnie, if that hashes out, kudos to you.
2 different tracks for sure. So
Yeah, that's true too.
I went with the guy that he was one of Ronnie and I's dudes last year. I mean, this guy is a dude. If I was going to make a football team, this guy would be on my team. He's a dude. Proctologist.
Oh, okay.
The guy's been, we haven't seen him this year. I don't know why, but
He's back home.
married
Is he married?
recently.
Oh,
We've talked about it 100 times. That's one of my favorite people to watch play disc golf. I love his form. Another dude, talk about doing some swag. There's another guy with some swag to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, love that one. He was on my short list of sleepers. I nearly went with the proctologist.
I kind of thought you might when you were leading into it. Go ahead, Ronnie. I'll back clean up.
Because my stink has the opportunity to really make me look bad, I'm not going to lead out with that. I'm going to go with Shine. I'm going to steal a little bit of my co-host thunder. The bird looks good. He looks real good.
yes,
got the
Ronnie.
same shine
we
as
got the
Lucas.
same again.
I'm taking the tall, thin bird. Give me Eagle McMahon.
Yes, I agree, dude. It's his time. It is his time. Let's go, Eagle.
Well, he can get at least second, and that would be great for the bird because my dude's going to win it. Guys, got a guess?
It's going to be wrong, whatever it is.
It's one of my dudes, and it's not Vinny because I can't pick
I'll
Vinny
say it's
until
Vinny because
Worlds.
you pick Vinny every week. So
I'm
You
not
want
picking
Rick?
him again until Worlds. Not Rick. The Beast, baby.
Oh, you went Shine of the Beast. Okay.
Damn
this is
right.
exciting. Okay.
We're not saying if. We're saying when, and it's this weekend.
love it.
Oh, it's going to be good. I hope.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, this
Good
is
picks.
actually perfect. This is really just kind of matched what we were really echoed everything that we were saying in
Mhm.
our What's Poppin' is for both of these guys, right?
The trend, right? The trend is it's not like this, man. It was this little steady stuff for a little bit. Those two guys now, it's like this. They're rocketing up, and you can just see it coming. You can see it ready to happen, and it's going to surprise nobody when it happens now. It's not going to be where Paige came a little bit, kind of surprised us a little bit. You knew it might still be in there, but then when it did, it's like, oh, that was kind of obvious. I think we're going to feel the same way when one of these two dudes finally step back in the winner's circle.
Yep.
My stinker.
Yep.
think this is the hardest one to pick, man. It's so hard to pick
I suck at these.
a good dude who you think's going to do bad. It's real easy to pick a bad dude. I mean, I picked Cupcake. He's going to get almost last every week. Okay. But I went with, I might win this tournament.
Oh boy.
Oh,
Have the same person.
Oh, no.
Gavin Babcock.
Okay.
No.
That's a good pick, I think.
I'm gonna be honest. My stink is way better than Gavin.
Mine is not. I think maybe statistically he might be, but all right, Ronnie, I'm actually going to go first because I'm too excited to hear yours. You built it up.
Might not
So for me, I'm going to go with Smitty's stink from last week, who's actually going to stink this week, and Paul Ulibarri.
That dude is not going to stink, man. I've picked him 3 times to stink, and he hasn't yet.
It's time this week.
Soon I'm going to pick him to shine, bro.
I feel that. I finally got Mason Ford to almost stink for a little bit, enough to not get a red. I'm going to take a guy that, look, he could win the golf tournament. He could 100% win the golf tournament. Some people may even be picking him to win the golf tournament. The Oregon kid, the kid that almost got it done last week. Cole Redolin stinks this week. Stinks this week.
Okay. I just don't see that one. I want to be on the same page, but I think that's going to come back and bite you because, you know, me and Cole are besties.
I know you are, and and I know I could be by doing that one, I could definitely be the first person to pick a stink winner. But
wouldn't that be something?
You guys remember the bet?
What is it? Roadhouse?
Yes, as soon as
Okay.
the stink wins.
God, I am
Roadhouse for the
hungry,
other
Ronnie.
my Roadhouse budget's pretty expansive. So if that comes to pass, I got you guys covered.
All right. Woo. All right. So those are our picks for Beaver State Fling, but don't forget that we had our Survivor League 2.0, and we need to check what happened there.
It was good. I'll tell you what happened. It was fun. Ronnie and I were going back and forth. If this dude gets this, these guys are out. Oh, it was good.
It was a pretty wild finish.
It was.
And there are going to be some folks that might be less Corey Ellis fans come today.
So here we are, everyone. This is who we had for the picks, and let's take a look at who actually made it in, or who didn't make it in, I should say, because we're going to start with a red. Alexis, see ya, dude. We were with you. Ronnie and I picked him as our shine. We thought he was going to play well, but he definitely did not. And you're gone, homie. See ya. We have 2 others that are going to be leaving us. And one of them I really love. The other I love a little bit. So Michael and Keeney, so my wife, they both chose Ezra Robinson, who'd been playing really, really well. And this is the one. He was 1 stroke out of being top 15.
We got knocked out by Corey Ellis. Corey Ellis birdied his last hole to move it to 15th place.
Oh, wow. I didn't even see that one.
Oh.
And we're going to lose 2 more. Oh, my goodness.
What
and
a week.
Patsy chose
First
AB.
loss ever.
Patsy, what a run. She'd never missed one. But she's gone along with
Patsy.
Nick Gordon.
If you need to talk about it, give me a call. I got you.
Yeah, believe me,
I'm here for you.
me and Smitty are well versed in being out, so we can tell you all about it.
You get used to it. It's hard at first, but with time, everything gets a little easier. Ronnie, do you know anything about losing in this game?
I don't know. Who did I pick?
Let's see. Well, you're not going to get to see first, but we do have a green. And this is Jordan Schaefer, who picked Ricky Wysocki. So Schaefer moves on and survives. Is he going to win it all? No! There's another green, and it belongs to Ronnie, who picked Calvin Heimberg. So Ronnie versus Schaefer, battle it out 1v1 going into the Beaver State Fling, and this is who's going to be battling. Eagle versus Macbeth. Schaefer has picked Eagle. Ronnie has picked McBeast, and holy moly, it all comes down to this.
Is Ronnie the best Survivor League player to never win a championship?
Well, Ronnie's the only person to have played every week of the Survivor League. I don't know. What do you guys do on these weeks where you don't have somebody to pick? I don't know. I guess I wouldn't know how it feels.
Well, I wish I could say root against Paul, but since he's my shine,
I'm in a similar situation, right? Eagle is also my shine, so I guess. And Schaefer's one of my best homies. So, do I just say, "Gosh, I hope it just goes to next week"?
You have never taken your shine as your Survivor pick. You always hedge your bet.
Sometimes. I mean, sometimes I'm not looking for the same thing, right? When I'm looking for someone to shine, I'm thinking who might win the golf tournament. When I'm picking my Survivor, is who do I think is going to be in the mix? All I care is about is top 15. I'm not necessarily.
That's what I'm doing wrong. I see. Okay.
I'm not necessarily looking for the same thing.
Survivor League for Dummies by Ronnie Undergone.
Honestly,
Sure.
I'm taking notes over here.
So, yeah, I mean,
Thanks so much, Ronnie.
the results speak for themselves.
Well, it's going to come down to it, and I am super excited. But boys, another episode in the books, episode 14. 14 in. Any shout outs that you two would like to give going into the week?
All the people that did come to play Doodah. It was good seeing a lot of people that we don't get to see all the time. Everybody who once again came up to me and said they enjoyed the commentary on The Rock and they enjoyed the coverage. That's fun to get that feedback from people that they are enjoying what we're doing there, Lucas. That's fun. And I can't wait to get commentary going on the Doodah rounds.
Oh, yeah.
The dude I met today at Cans of You, never going to watch this. Doran was his name. He is from Tampa Bay, Florida. Supposedly plays with Rick and Kenny and Johnny. He knows all the guys. And I believe that this AM60 dude was dropping 400-foot bombs, dude. He was good. I played the back nine with him. He's my pick for the AM60 title next week when we are in Emporia.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's honest.
I can't believe it.
Yeah, I can't either. Doesn't seem that long ago we were in Flagstaff doing the same thing, with the other show. So yeah, excited. Ready to get there and do it all over again. Maybe see if the old guy can't repeat as a world champion and
I'm hoping.
See if I can improve on my finish last year.
Well, I got to give a shout out to, of course, another shout out to Nate Alton, who just played some phenomenal golf this weekend. And I can't wait for everyone to see it because that dude's got just a disgusting forehand that just shapes around things perfectly. Those courses both set up really well for his game, and that flex forehand was on full display. And that putting, sometimes I forget that he is a really, really great putter. And when that's on, it was money. It was fun to watch. Can't wait for you all to see it. 11 strokes going into the final day. A final round is pretty impressive. All right, boys. So let us jump into the 19th hole where we're going to see the best shot of the weekend from the Portland Open. You have to tell us if you like it too. But until next time, next week, we'll see you then. Take care. Bye-bye now.
Peace.
For the FPO putting circle as well. So a little bit confusing sometimes. Isaac.
This looks good. Yep.
Oh! It's in! Whoa! What a shot!
Beautiful skip on that.
That was amazing.
Yeah, watch this little skip hop right in.
Wow, what a shot from Isaac. Makes me want to sing.
Did it like come in like at the end and go up?
Oh, he had no idea. I mean, how could he know?